go to Weasel, cause the Weasel say, pop, yeah, come.
Yeah. Half a pound of tubany rice, half a pound of treacle. That's the way the money goes. Pop goes the weasel.
You're going to be a successful WWF villain hated by millions.
When you came back briefly to manage, you said you did it for like, what, 10 days? Yeah, with Flair. Yeah. What was your kind of feeling going into it? Oh, I didn't want to do it. Yeah. I was hurting. Yeah. And I had a deal that my deal was I wasn't going to manage anymore. Yeah. And that was my deal, but I knew if I didn't, I would have, they would dump on me. So I did it, but after 10 days, it hurt so bad I couldn't sleep at night, and I never took pills or medication. I had the beer and scotch and wine, but other than that, no, I never took painkillers because I just didn't do it. So like the first night you did it, you just knew that this wasn't gonna. First time he told me. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I lost my heart for it. And I was hurt. And at the end of a match, I used to like to take bumps at the end. Be brought in and thrown out turnbuckles. And I loved the work. I didn't love the work anymore. I hurt. And it wasn't fun anymore. It was getting hard to travel and the trips and everything. And carry all those bags. I had to carry wrestling shoes, wrestling trunks and stuff, and a wrestling jacket. I also had to carry 3 sequin jackets. You know what they weigh? And pants and shirts for prime time. Then I had to carry manager shoes, which is just sort of Reebok. I used to call them my Weasel wedgies. And I had those. And another pair of black pants. Always wore black so I could wipe them off, or if somebody threw stuff, you could get it out. Because I wore colors. You had to get them cleaned every day, and they were one-nighters. So I would always wear black, and I have to carry that, and I have to bring clothes to just wear on the street, and we had suits and stuff. I had a lot of luggage to carry. I couldn't put the stuff through, because if it didn't come there, I needed it. Yeah, exactly. So carrying all those bags, and rental cars, and wrestling on the planes and everything, and trying to get you stuff to fit. Sure, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why is he whining? Yeah. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah. But I've done it for so long, and it hurt, and I just was tired of it. I just didn't want to do it anymore. So Kurt was kind of annoying to you. Yeah. It's funny about this business. When you want to do something, they won't let you do it. But when you don't want to do it, they'll make you do it. I want to be champion. Well, you don't work like the stuff for champion. I don't want to work that time. Well, you have to. But it's fair, though. You're the boss, you're paying. I have a choice. I can quit or stay. So I chose to stay, and I'm glad I did. And I have a wonderful education from just traveling and being around people that are bright. A lot of wrestlers, people think are just a bunch of guys whose nose run, and they put their underwear on because they have a coat, yellow in front, brown in back. But no, Johnny Case, the man I went to Japan with, the man I first saw wrestle at Maryville, he was principal of the superintendent of Antioch High School. Angela Papa, who I managed, was a graduate of DePaul. She set a record in the Guinness Book of Records doing sit-ups. He was 6,000 some sit-ups in 4 hours or something. And he's a legitimate, educated man. Ken Patera was an Olympian. He went to Brigham Young. Vern Gagne went to the University of Minnesota. Brunzell went to the University of Minnesota. Bernard Von Raschke went to the University of Nebraska, taught. Jack Lanza was a sociology teacher. I go on and on and on. They're educated people. They're just not a bunch of buffoon morons. It's because they dress like that and look like that. That's just their character. That's really their personality, what you see on TV. Oh, sure. And that's it. But no, a lot of them are, and they're good-hearted people with families and caring people. Sure, there's off-the-wall people. We never had any trouble in the Congress or the Senate, huh? No. You know, women know that sex is over with Ted Kennedy, but don't like goes on. You know why he wears wool underwear? To keep his ankles warm. But no, there's a lot more scandal and doctors and lawyers. And, I mean, I'm telling you, I was telling my my wife says, even before the Trade Center thing happened, the toughest people in the world I know are rodeo cowboys and firemen. I mean, you strap 300,000 pounds between your legs, and I'm going to hold on to it. Why? And I mean, firemen, they're a brotherhood, and you never hear scandal about them, brags or anything. No. They're the toughest men on this earth. And a lot of wrestlers are, and a lot of wrestlers aren't. But to me, a macho man isn't a man that slaps a woman around and wears 12 chains. It's a guy that will do the best he can to feed his family and not infringe on your privacy. That's a good man to me. It doesn't hurt to marry a woman that has a lotto ticket, a whipped cream, and owns a liquor store. It's a race, so that's what I want to find. Exactly. Ray Stevens was married to a woman wrestler. She was about 10 years older than Ray. She was tough. And Ray told me she wasn't that tough. He said, I used to have her on her knees twice a week begging. I said, did you hit her? He said, no, she was telling me to come out from under the bed and fight like a man.
We were talking about earlier how Kurt was kind of anointed with Flair. Did you help him at all, or did you?
You mean help with his managing?
Yeah.
No, he's a professional. He had me as a manager, and he know how to work. And I don't know how that thing worked with him at first. One thing Buddy Rogers told me one time, he says, don't ever give a guy your name. Don't ever be the Heenan brothers. Because that guy may not be as good as you and might go out and destroy it. He might be a pedophile. He might be, you don't know. And he says, don't ever stand outside the dressing room looking for women or watching the matches. I said, why? He said, do you see Sinatra do that? They only pay you to see you once. I said, okay. So, that was the mentality I had then. But I would look outside every now and then. But Kurt, no, he just knew the ways to manage and how to do it because he's been around it for so long.
What was Flair like coming in? I mean, was he nervous?
No, Flair was a natural from the beginning.
I mean, just going from one area to another, he's now in the WWF.
No, I remember when I first started with Vern. He looked like he was about the size of Dusty. And he had brown hair. And I punched him in the mouth one night in the Conover Auditorium in Minneapolis. He was a fan. And he reached for me. And I don't remember him, but he told me the story. But then he went to Charlotte and he got in that plane crash. And then he got his break down there. And you knew you had to put the belt on him. Nobody had a hair like him. Hogan does, but he's only got half of it. It's a convertible, the top's down. And Flair always wore the best clothes, always had the Rolexes. Wouldn't mind ripping those clothes apart in interviews and stuff. Went through thousands. I'm sure the crackers compensated him for that. But the same woman that made his robes made my sequin jackets. Olivia Walker, Wrestling 2's wife. Johnny Walker, who's a very good friend of mine, and Olivia passed away, and it's a very big loss to our industry. Not just who's a person that is that great a seamstress, but is a good friend. And no, you could just see that where he had the different colored boots, and he had the wool, and he had the butterfly in his trunks, and he had different colors. This was the next gorgeous George. You could just see it. And the torch went to him and Kaninsky and Dory Funk. And Dory Funk and Briscoe had some of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. And, but they were kind of blah, as individuals, as characters on TV. As wrestlers, they were great. And then Flair came on the scene. He was never nervous. He would accelerate everything he did. He was just, he always admired me and Steven. And I appreciate him for that. He always talked highly of me and Ray. And I can only talk about Rick like that. He's a tremendous performer, and he never laid on his ass. He never took a night off. He He went out there and just watch him. He took the slams up the top rope and was press slams for anyone, just to get him over the match.
I told him, I said, you beat Nick one more time, you get to keep him.
To put the word in the streets.